All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to break down something absolutely massive, India's geospatial revolution. Now, this isn't just about maps. It's a core piece of the puzzle for the whole Viksit Bharat, or Developed India vision. We're going to walk through it all, step by step, chronologically, so you can see exactly how this whole thing is unfolding. It's going to be super helpful for your prep. So, let's kick things off with this quote. It really sets the stage perfectly. You've got two huge ideas packed in here. The first is democratization. What does that mean? It's all about making location data open and accessible for everyone, not just a select few. The second big one is Atmanirbhar, that national mission for self-reliance. Seriously, keep these two concepts locked in your mind because they are the bedrock for everything we're about to cover. Okay, so here's the game plan for today. We'll start with India's geospatial blueprint, then look at how they're fostering geospatial innovation. After that, we'll cover mapping urban India with NAKSHA, creating a unified platform, and see the policy in action. And stick around for the end, because we've got a killer summary of all the exam key takeaways. Let's get into it. All right, Section 1, India's geospatial blueprint. We're going to start by understanding the big one, the National Geospatial Policy of 2022. This is really where it all begins. So what is this policy really? Well, the most important thing to remember is that it's a citizen-centric policy. It's not just some dry technical document. The whole goal is to treat high-quality location data like a public good, just like we think of roads or electricity, essential infrastructure that should be available to everyone. By making it free and open, the idea is to kickstart innovation, make governments better, and really push economic growth. It's a game changer. Now, this whole policy stands on 5 core pillars. And look at them. It's way more than just making maps. It's about building an entire ecosystem from the ground up. You've got Atmanirbhar Bharat for self-reliance, democratization of data to make it all accessible, and ease of doing business to help private companies jump in. Plus, there's a huge focus on sparking innovation and startups, and even capacity development, which means teaching this stuff right from school. It's a full-circle approach. Okay, check this out. What's so cool about this policy is that it lays out a super clear roadmap with specific deadlines. By 2025, they want a legal framework and a unified digital interface. And get this, a high-accuracy geoid model. What's that? Think of it as an incredibly precise model of the Earth's surface that accounts for gravity, which makes all our elevation data way more accurate. Then by 2030, we're talking about super high-res mapping down to 5-10 centimeter accuracy. And by 2035, the vision gets even wilder. They want to create a national digital twin for our big cities. That's literally a virtual copy of a city where you can test out new infrastructure or simulate disaster responses. Plus, mapping our oceans in detail to boost the blue economy. It's seriously ambitious stuff. So you have this big, ambitious policy on paper, but how do you actually make it happen? Well, that brings us to our next section, fostering geospatial innovation. Let's look at the very first steps they took to get the ball rolling. And that first big step was creating this, a pilot center of excellence for geospatial innovation. This was set up in late 2023, and you can think of it as the engine room for this whole revolution. Its job is to bring everyone to the table, startups, big industry players, and even public sector undertakings, to work together and turn those big policy ideas into actual, usable technology. Now, this center is a tripartite partnership, meaning there are 3 key players involved. And for your exams, you're definitely going to want to remember who they are. Don't worry, we've got a neat little trick to help you lock it in. Here it is. Just remember the goal, to develop new Indian technology. See how that works? D for DST, N for NIGST, and IT for IIT Tirupati. Develop new Indian technology. DST, NIGST, and IIT Tirupati. Simple, right? That's your key to remembering the partnership behind this whole innovation hub. Okay, so we've got the innovation hub up and running. What's next? The focus then shifts to a very specific, very important problem, mapping urban India. Let's talk about NAKSHA and bringing high-tech surveying to our cities. And that brings us to this initiative, NAKSHA. First off, the name is perfect. NAKSHA literally just means map. This pilot program was kicked off in early 2025, and it's all about one thing, modernizing land surveys in our cities. You can't plan a smart city without a smart map, right? That's what this is all about. So what makes NAKSHA special? It's all about the tech. We're talking about using things like drones and high-precision GNSS rovers. Now, a GNSS rover, just think of it as a super accurate GPS on steroids. This tech allows for the creation of incredibly precise digital land records, which is a massive leap from the old manual ways of surveying. All right, let's recap. We have an innovation hub and we have a project to map our cities. So now you've got all this great data being created. What do you do with it? Well, that leads to the next logical step, creating a unified platform to bring it all together. And this was a huge deal. In late 2025, the Survey of India, which is the official mapping agency of the country, teamed up with a private company, CE Infosystems. This public-private partnership is super important because you get the best of both worlds, the authority and legacy of the Survey of India combined with the speed and tech savvy of the private sector. So what is this National Geospatial Platform? The easiest way to think about it is like a central national library for all of India's geospatial data. It's meant to be the one-stop shop, the single source of truth. So whether you're a government planner figuring out a new highway or a startup founder building the next big delivery app, you can go here to get authentic, reliable data. Under the hood, this platform has three main parts. First, you've got a system to pull in and combine all the different data sets. Second, there's an application interface, or an API, which is basically a set of tools for developers to build apps on top of this data. And third, there's something called a spatial data registry. Think of this like the library's card catalog. It doesn't hold the books, but it tells you what books exist, who wrote them, and where to find them. It's all about managing the data about the data. Okay, so we have the policy, the innovation center, and the big data platform. So how does all this tech actually plug into the real world? Let's talk about policy in action, how it connects to other big national missions, and, who's footing the bill? And this is where it all clicks together, especially with a huge program like PM Gati Shakti. Here's a simple way to think about it. PM Gati Shakti is the what. It's the grand vision, the master plan for building all this new infrastructure. The National Geospatial Policy is the how. It provides the technology and the super accurate data needed to actually pull it off. You can't plan a complex project without a great map. One is the dream, the other is the engine that makes the dream happen. And yep, there's real money behind this. The government has put its money where its mouth is. In the union budget for 2025-26, a solid 100 crore rupees were allocated for the National Geospatial Mission. That's a pretty strong signal that they're serious about building this digital foundation for the country. Now let's talk about Operation Dronagiri. This pilot initiative, launched in late 2024, is basically where the rubber meets the road. It's all about taking these high-level ideas and showing how they can actually work in the real world to help citizens, businesses, and the government itself. So, a few key things you need to know about Operation Dronagiri. It's a pilot, and it's running in 5 states to start: Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Assam, Andhra Pradesh, and Maharashtra. The main goal is to create an integrated data sharing interface, and the big picture, to eventually roll this out across the entire country, probably using a public-private partnership model. So this is a really important test case to watch. Whew, okay, we've gone through a lot, from the policy to the platforms to the pilots. Now let's bring it all home for our final section, the exam key takeaways. Seriously, if you're prepping for an exam, this next slide is your golden ticket. It's everything you need to know all in one place. All right, here it is, your comprehensive overview. Let's walk through it. First, the policy itself. National Geospatial Policy 2022, notified on December 28th. The vision, Viksit Bharat. The core ideas, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and democratization of data. Now the timelines, super important. 2025 is for the legal framework. 2030 is when we get that super high-res mapping and the geospatial knowledge infrastructure. And 2035 brings the national digital twin. Next, the key initiatives, in order. The Center of Excellence in November 23, remember our mnemonic, then Operation Dronagiri in November 24 in those 5 states. After that, NAKSHA in February 25, and finally, the National Geospatial Platform Agreement in November 25. And the money? 100 crore rupees allocated. The big connection, it's the tech enabler for PM Gati Shakti. Oh, and one more fact for you, the Swamitva scheme has already surveyed over 2.8 lakh villages with drones. So definitely pause here, take a screenshot, whatever you need to do. This is your cheat sheet. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into India's geospatial revolution. We really hope this chronological walkthrough helped you piece everything together. For more detailed explainers just like this one, make sure to check out the other videos on our channel. And hey, if you found this useful, please do us a huge favor and hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for watching.